At this time tonight, we have special announcements, and before I get to the council members, I would like to make a statement. Now, as most of you know and are aware, there was an incident in our Christmas in the Park that forced our city staff to close the park a little early Saturday night. Up until that point, the three-day event was enjoyed by many citizens in our city. I know that I had calls, emails, I had people, I'll say it at church yesterday, that came up that weren't aware that there was a problem at Saturday night, told me what a great opportunity that was for them and what a good time they had. Many of us were there. There were several of your council members that were there Saturday night enjoying the park. We did feel safe most of that time. Most of the time, our events here in town are very well attended and are very well taken care of. But although there are times that things do happen, and I'll get into that just in a few minutes. First of all, if you would allow me, I would like to thank all the parks people, the parks director, and the department for all the planning of this event. We redesigned the layout, we redesigned the parking. There was a lot of additions to the event this year, and many volunteers spent their own time, providing for our citizens during this event, and I'd like to recognize their efforts as well. Secondly, after what happened last year at this event, our Parks and Recreation Department, other staff members, and our police got together and tried to come up with a plan. And if you notice, there was a lot of changes this year. We had more police presence. We had more officers on the ground. We had other helpers and people in different departments there. We also changed the parking. There was a lot of effort put into what we had done this year to mitigate some of the things. But also there was a lot of information that got put out Saturday night. At the end of the event, within the last 30 minutes of the event, there was a lot of things that happened that asked and really mitigated us, the city and the police, to stop this event early. And I'd like to share some of this with you. The event was closed 15 minutes early due to behavior of some teens and, yes, fights that broke out during that time, and teens and others running through the park. Our police department, rightfully so, felt like that we needed to close early and to usher people out of the park for their safety. And I will tell you that no one that we know of was injured Saturday night. While there were reports of gunfire nearby, there were no shots fired at our event. Last year there was also reports of gunshots at the event, which again was untrue. There were noises and shots that were heard, but not at our event. We had a number of uniformed police officers at the event all 3 days. It was increased on Saturday night, and as the crowds grew, and there was a lot of people there Saturday night. I was one of them. Several of your other council members were there as well. More officers were called in. We did respond, and hopefully we tried to do everything that we needed to do in a positive manner to create this situation. Unfortunately, we're not all saints. And unfortunately, there are those that they choose to disrupt, and there were disruptions that night. We did not try to change or cover over, or we did not try to make light of the situation. These things did come up, they did happen, but as a fluid situation occurs, and I'm not a police officer, but as radio contact is made between officers and they say, we saw people running here, we saw people fighting here, we saw a lot of that information gets sent out, and when you're listening to it and hearing that, you can imagine, oh my gosh, what's going on? But I just want to tell you that these officers, for the most part, really for everyone that we've heard about, were able to diffuse these situations as quickly as they came up. This event, and I'll say this one piece of personal thing and hopefully won't get choked up, was started 29 years ago in our city, and my father was on the Parks Board 29 years ago when this event began in Mesquite, and it's very special to me, and my children have been there, and my other family members have been there, and we want to have this as one of the greatest events in this entire area. And it's disheartening and heartbreaking to myself and this council that a few people choose to make this a negative for this city. While we made a lot of changes this year to prevent these things from happening, we know that something happened again. It's not right. We don't accept it, and we're going to continue to work to make it right. Our citizens deserve for us to make it right, and I hope that you hear me say that tonight. But as with every event, improvements can always be made, and we're going to continue to work towards that. Even this morning, I was meeting with our city manager, and I was telling him, we've got to do a better job, and we are going to do a better job. Lastly, I'd just like to mention that there was a lot of second guessing over the weekend and Saturday and Sunday and Monday. A lot of information, I think, got miscommunicated out there. But I can assure you, just like tonight, we do our very best to give you the transparency that you deserve. We are trying our best to get the information, the correct, factual information out to our citizens. We're not trying to gloss over or hide over, but I will tell you, just as I've told many, many people this weekend, 98-point-something% of this event was tremendously positive for our community. A small percentage of people chose to make this for whatever reason, to make this into their own, negative issues, and we don't accept that. Again, I'd like to say thank you to our police department, our parks department, our firefighters, and others, and we appreciate all the efforts that they had that night. We're going to do this event again. We're going to do it for our citizens, and we're going to make it right. And I just wanted to take for a few minutes and tell you that I've heard a lot of people say, why isn't the council angry? Why isn't there this outpouring? Guys, nobody's happy with what happened Saturday night. We're happy with the event up until about 8:30 Saturday night. But as of, what happened at the end, honestly, we're not going to tolerate this, and we are going to figure out a way to make this better. So I appreciate you giving me that opportunity and that time to say that. Thank you for all your help.